Okay, we are here with Julie Brown. How you doing, Julie?
I'm doing great.
Good,
Thank
wonderful. Well,
you.
thank you for agreeing for this interview.
My
We have a
pleasure.
couple of questions. They have them right in front of you. It's like an interview.
How exciting.
Good. So let's start right off the bat with question number one. Tell me a little bit about your child care center.
So we have a child care center that services students ages 2 years, 9 months through 5 years, give or take, kindergarten age. So we have a junior threes class, a threes class, fours class, and a junior kindergarten class, which is a feeder. Those are kids that are either not quite ready for kinder or just need another year of development.
Good. And you run full day and half day
We
programs
run
also.
full day, half day, and we also run part-time and full-time. So we do combo days, 2, 3, and 4 day programs as well as a 5 day program. So there's a lot of options.
Good. And what is the total population of your program right now?
We are licensed for max capacity of 129 students on any given day. So it just depends on the day and the need for that, day.
Good. Well, do you run any extended afternoon programs or any evening programs?
We do. We run after-school programs, so we call that Student Life here, and that runs until 6 o'clock, so we have after-school operating hours. We also have morning operating hours for those working families, and those begin at 7 a.m. And then we have other programs like dance and gymnastics and various things that are in addition to our program that usually happen either at the end of the half day or at the end of the full day program, depending on, what that program has to offer.
Good. Wonderful. And what is your total staff right now?
We have 5 classrooms staffed at 2 teachers each. So we have 10 on staff, and then we have a couple floaters. So I believe the staff total down there is 12. And then, of course, we have a nice extensive sub list.
Good. And instructional assistants?
We do. That's including instructional assistants. So we have 12 total. All of our assistants are teacher qualified, so they can fill in at any given time.
Good. And you have support staff of clerical?
We do. We have office staff. There's 2 ladies down below, as well as a director, an assistant director. So we're nicely supported.
Wonderful. Seems like a nice big staff. Let's go on to question number 2. What is your primary role as a director, particularly in the area of leadership, leading people in your staff, and then management of the procedures, your actual site?
So in leadership, I need to make sure that I'm moving the staff forward, that they're continuously learning and growing in the field of early education so that they're staying on top of what's going on out in the world and bringing that back into our organization. So we have regular staff meetings, we have check and balance, very collaborative environment. In the way of policies and practices, that is an everyday thing, keeping abreast of what's going on myself out in the world, in other centers, keeping competitive, and then as far as financially and all of that, keeping checks and balances with those that are above me and below me as well, making sure that we're keeping things on track.
Wonderful. You mentioned staff meetings. How often do you have those?
We have the first Friday of every month, we have a total staff meeting where we close school and it's collaborative. And then we have Wednesday morning meetings weekly. So there's a weekly and then there's a monthly intensive. And then we have quarterly, sometimes a little more than quarterly, but at the minimum quarterly we have in service where a whole day we're closed and they have something intensive that's going on.
Good, wonderful. You also mentioned the concept of networking, going out there and seeing what other districts, other programs are doing.
Yeah, we
Do you
take.
belong to any networking?
We do.
organizations?
We belong to a Christian Association, so ACSI, and we also belong to Christian School Association, CSA. And we meet with them. Christian School Association is every other month, and ACSI is just an ongoing organization. We'll be going to a conference up there, but it allows us to be able to go into these other organizations and see their centers, see what they're doing, what's working for them, and compare it to what we're doing to make adjustments. We also have community schools that we're not affiliated with through the Christian organization that are schools that we go into to view what they're doing so that we're staying, competitive across the board. And I have good relations with several different centers in our area. They come visit us, we go visit them, because the goal is to have the best environment for the kids.
Exactly. Good, thank you. Question number 3, how is your program generally funded?
We're private pay. We do take in some lower funding, so we take in state funding or federal funding cases. It depends on the organization. So we work with Four Cs and Choices for Children. There's a couple agencies that we won't work with just due to practices haven't been good. So we'll just leave it at that, but we are private pay.
Good. And out of the 129 possible slots, how many of those are state funded or otherwise?
I would say we have less than a dozen, so, somewhere between 8 and 10.
Wonderful. And do you have any scholarship money, or do you have any foundation money?
We do. Because we have a partnership with the church underwrites us when in need, not on a general basis, but when in need, they will come in. And so we do have scholarship monies available for students that have severe or extreme cases. And those are, again, it's case by case. And generally, it's not a free ride. It's some sort of a arrangement, 50%, something to that degree. But we
Prorated.
definitely try to work with families as best as possible.
Great. And I'm not sure if you use, as a way of maintaining staff and keeping that good staff around, do you use any type of scholarshiping for your staffing also?
Staffing receives a discount, so it depends on their level. If they're full-time or part-time would be the dependence on their discount. It goes anywhere from 25% up to 50, no more than 50% if they have a child within the center.
Good, wonderful. Do you depend on any fundraising?
We do. Well, we don't depend on it, but we definitely enjoy it when it comes our way. So we do 2 different events, and we do those. We actually collaborate with the elementary and the middle school with our fundraising, and then that gets spread across between the 3 entities. But at the Child Care Center, we will allocate, whether it's going to go to a new curriculum or whether it's going to go to manipulatives or to get the floors done or whatnot. So it's not something that we depend on. We don't build it into our budget. It is like a Christmas present when we get it. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. And you kind of mentioned this already. You don't really work a lot with grant writing or grantors. The church acts as a grantor to a certain extent. Have you ever in the past looked at the possibility of...
we are just now in the beginning phases of, I have a couple staff members that actually have shown interest in wanting to kind of go out there and investigate grants. I think that it's something that we're missing the boat on, and we're getting ready to, we want in on that. So that's somewhere we're headed.
Good, wonderful. Question number 6. How do you place your students? Do you use any specific assessment instrument at enrollment or after that?
We do not assess new students coming in at the child care level. We accept all students based on, just wherever they're at. We place them according to their age. So that way we don't have a big difference. We don't have a 2-year, 9-month, and a 5-year-old in the same class. They're separated by age. The only time that I do any additional testing is if I have a child that's coming in with a special need. I need to be able to meet with them and see the severity of their special need and where they would properly be placed. Or if we have a child coming in from another school setting because of a poor experience, we want to know if that was a general poor experience with the school or if that was a child-generated experience. And so we need to have a feel for where that child is. But at the Child Care Center, generally, it's everyone is in, and then we assess them throughout the year as they get ready to move up and on.
Good. What particular instrument do you use? Or
For assessment,
Yeah.
we have the kindergarten assessment for entering kindergartners, and we back it up at each age level to meet markers. And so we have developmental markers at each age level. So there's not a specific form we use. We kind of go through the Giselle, we go through, there's a couple different developmental kits that we use, but for the most part, it's teacher generated based off of what we're feeding into our kindergarten here on site.
Great.
So we're preparing them for Achiever Kindergarten.
Good. And just for reference, the Giselle is very much like the Brigance or the PPBT, which is more of a vocabulary
We also
test.
use the PPVT,
Okay.
so.
Great.